This is 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more. So today I'll be reviewing Batman the Telltale Series. It was one of the games that I had played and beaten over the last week or so. And I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised with the game. I've never played a Telltale Series game, which, if you don't know what a Telltale Series game is, it is a episodic point-and-click graphic adventure video game, which is a very fancy phrase to define a video game that is very much like a movie, except that it is interactive in the sense that you get to decide and pick really what happens in the story. And I think that that's one of the greatest aspects of the game, and that is the story. The story is probably the best aspect because the gameplay is one of the worst aspects. And Telltale Series is known for this, known for having these episodic graphic adventure games and having a focus on story, but the gameplay is very, very, very minimal. There are an abundance of QTE segments, which stands for Quick Time Events, in the game that you really don't see in most video games, and that's to expedite the process expedites the time that you spend really not making these decisions in the story, not making decisions that affect characters in the story. And if it's not QTEs, it's usually going to be very scripted gameplay. For instance, there is this one scene where you are, and I think this is only exclusive to the Batman series, where you are selecting the thugs that Falcone has in his penthouse to take out as Batman via the drone. And that's very scripted. You're really not doing a lot. It's QTEs, except you get to actually select how you take them down. I'm not sure if it really matters at all, but it's there if you want to play around with that. But as good as the game's story is, and I'll get into it in a second, I do have to go into the negatives first. The game is very fragmented. The game's episodes are released in monthly editions, and the last edition, episode 5, was released in December. It was released only last month on, I think, December 2nd or December 5th. Now, the problem is that a lot of design decisions that were taking place in between the initial release of the game and the closing of the game's final chapter, episode 5, seemed to take root because of the monthly releases. For instance, in the first episode, you have this decision of either arresting Falcone in a very lawful manner, or you have the option of running a pike through his leg in a very violent manner. And Gotham will respond in one of two ways. Gotham will either like that you arrested him, or they will fear that you ran a pike through his leg. And I thought that that was a very interesting dynamic, because Batman always teeters on that edge of being a very violent vigilante, because Superman, he doesn't break people's arms. Wonder Woman doesn't break people's arms. They subdue them. They arrest them. Batman is really the only hero that's popular that you see really being violent towards his adversaries, against supervillains, against criminals. And I thought that that was a very interesting take on Batman to explore. And in the second chapter, they completely get rid of it, but they do have important parts in the game that affect characters in that way. It's just that design decision isn't seen ever again throughout the game's episodes. And that's not the only complaint I have with the game. That's just one of the many that I'll go into now. So Arkham Asylum is deemed in the game as a very useless asylum that Harvey Dent and both Bruce Wayne are capitalizing on. They're using that as a political piece and saying, hey, Mayor Hill has not had this facility updated and upgraded throughout the years, and you can see that the degradation of the Arkham Asylum is very apparent in the psycho criminals that are being released and that are still in there, like Zaz and like the Joker. But even though it seemed as a useless facility, guess who gets sent there? Billionaire Bruce Wayne. He gets sent there, and the problem that I have with it is that the doctor that seems to be in charge seems like a competent woman. She seems like she knows what she's doing. Her patients are actually improving, and there's a lot of legitimacy to the argument that Arkham Asylum is a efficient rehabilitation center. So why is it that it's seen, even though that there's evidence to the contrary, that it's seen as a useless facility? That's just a very weak plot point that I felt like, again, the fragmentation of the story contributed to. Next is that Bruce Wayne's parents' murders were so clustered and were so ridiculous with all of these different angles. Take Bruce's interpretation for example. He sees that a mugger has essentially killed both of his parents. That's Bruce's interpretation. Then the interpretation of Mayor Hill is that he had them killed because they were Falcone's. They were in league with Falcone's, and Thomas Wayne, Bruce's father, was very, very ambitious, and he was very ruthless. Even though that there's still this cloud of anonymity that shows that may not necessarily be the case, that there's really not definite proof besides what people are telling you, and really not necessarily, like people can tell you anything. There's really not definite proof that Thomas Wayne was really, and Martha Wayne were really these terrible people. And it's kind of like this thing out of left field that for me that I kind of couldn't believe. And at the point where Oswald Cobblepot tells you that Martha Wayne had something to do with your parents being murdered, at that point I was like, okay, off. I don't care anymore, because your rendition of these two people dying is too clustered. It's too fragmented. And at the same time, I feel like I know I may not necessarily know why she was involved or why it was so important to kill her specifically, but I don't really care, because I know that these two were criminals, or that's at least how you're interpreting them, and there's so much else going on that I could not care, unfortunately, about the murder of Bruce Wayne's parents, even though that their death was the reason why he became Batman. But one of the other just weak plot points is, how is Oswald Cobblepot able to hack into Wayne Enterprises, or not even Wayne Enterprises, but how is he able to hack into his permanent records and modify his permanent records in such a way where he now is able to appear as an entrepreneur and capable of running a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate business that was formerly his adversaries, Bruce Wayne's? I don't understand that at all. I really don't, because Oswald Cobblepot in the comics, in the movies, in the video games, and in this video games seems like an idiot. How can he hack? How can he hack it? How can he change and alter his permanent records? How? It would be different if he paid someone to hack into government records, government permanent records, and to hack into Wayne Enterprise. It would be completely different, but that's not the case, and it's never explained. It's just, based on faith that you can believe that a guy that just appears like an absolute idiot can hack into some of the most secure private records that your and my government secures on the daily. I don't understand that. And on top of that, he also hacks into your back tech. He makes a lot of electrical powered equipment that Batman uses useless. How does he hack into that? How? Because I may understand, I may give him that. I may give him that he can hack into City Hall, but how does he hack into the Bat Tech? How? Especially when I had Lucius Fox stay behind to ensure that he was not going to hack into the Bat Tech. That's the reason why I had him in my decisions stay at Wayne Enterprise, so that way he would not hack into Wayne Enterprise technology and hack into the Bat Tech. I don't understand how he can do that, even though I'm sure that he could not. And then there's also the flaw in the plot that says that the batarangs are now affected. The batarangs are metal. How can metal that doesn't use any computer chip or doesn't even run on electricity, it runs on pure kinetic energy, require, or how does that get hacked? How does something that doesn't even have a computer chip in it get hacked? Again, these are some of these flaws, by the way, like the batarang hack, are small flaws that really are the feather that broke the camel's back. Like, this is, for me, like one of the most annoying things ever. This is where I say, time out. Okay, that's bull. But I digress. This game, even though it does have a lot of flaws to the story, which the story is the main aspect, and there is very little gameplay, and you do have to deal with QTEs, and if it's not QTEs, it's scripted gameplay. This game is very good, even after all of that. I do think that, again, the biggest problem with the game is that it was fragmented and design decisions. Like, if they released all 5 episodes at the same time, I'm pretty sure it would have been a lot better, because the head wouldn't be on it. The gameplay decisions wouldn't be on a swivel. They would be focused. They would either have to make or break that vigilante, that good vigilante, or that version of that version of Batman that is very close to being a brutal criminal. But it's a great game because the story is great. There's a subplot with Selena Kyle that, even though she seems different, it ends in a very Catwoman-esque fashion. The main storyline with Harvey Dent, with Oswald Cobblepot, with a new character that is, again, if you don't like the Batman Arkham series that Rocksteady made with, relationship with Batman's relationship to Arkham Asylum, you may not like this one, because there's again a character that is significant to Arkham Asylum. But really, they tie in this character's relationship to Arkham Asylum in such a way that you nor I definitely saw it coming, and that it is significant enough and hitting enough that you will not guess who this character is and why he or she is doing what they are doing. This has been 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more. I give this game a solid 7 out of 10. That's passing. Mediocre is a 5 out of 10, and obviously anything lower is below mediocre. I give this game a hard 7 out of 10. If you're a Batman fan, you will thoroughly enjoy this game. If you are not, you will be lukewarm to this game. You may think that it's a 6, but if you're a Batman fan, you'll think of it as a 9 or a 10. This has been 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more. Over the weekend, I will be releasing gameplay of me trying to get to Platinum on Overwatch, because I've never been to Platinum on Overwatch before ever, so I definitely do want to try and strive for that. I'll show you my ranking, and hopefully I've gotten good enough at the game to make the gameplay entertaining. Until then, have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time.